Hello and welcome back to Drama Series Recaps. I'm your host, Melody, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Laura. And today, oh my God, today is going to be something special.
Hi, everyone. Melody, I think I'm literally vibrating with excitement for today's episode. I feel like we've been waiting to do this one forever, right? Because today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into an absolute masterpiece, a cultural phenomenon. We're talking about the 2016 historical fantasy epic, Guardian, the Lonely and Great God, better known to all of us as Goblin. Oh my God, just hearing the title gives me literal chills. This show, it's not just a K-drama. It's an experience. It's beautiful, it's funny, it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's everything. If you haven't seen it, first of all, what are you doing with your life? And second, this is your official spoiler warning. We are holding nothing back.
Absolutely zero. We're going to unpack it all. The characters, the intertwined destinies, the bromance, the romance, the tragedy, all of it. So grab a snack, maybe a box of tissues because you're going to need them, and let's get into it. Okay, so where do we even begin? We have to start with the goblin himself, Kim Shin.
Yes, the legendary Gong Yu. So, Kim Shin's story starts way back, almost 1,000 years ago in the Goryeo dynasty. He's this unbeatable, decorated military general, a hero to his people. A total hero, everyone loves him, he's winning all these battles for his country. But, as it often goes in these stories, his success makes the young king, Wang Yo, super jealous and paranoid. He's being manipulated by this awful, scheming eunuch, and the king ends up believing that Kim Shin is planning to overthrow him. Oh, that whole sequence is it's brutal. The king orders him to die by suicide, and not just him, but his entire household, including his sister, Kim Sun, who is the queen, the king's own wife. It's horrific. And Kim Shin, he's killed by his own sword, this legendary weapon. But, that's not the end of his story. It's barely the beginning. The Almighty, this deity figure, curses him. Or blesses him? It's kind of both, actually. It's totally both. It's like a reward and a punishment all wrapped up together. He's granted immortality for all the good he did, protecting people and serving his country, but as a punishment for all the soldiers he killed in battle, the weight of all those lives, he's forced to live forever with that same sword stuck in his chest, enduring the pain of watching everyone he loves die. Can you even imagine that? Living for 939 years, seeing generation after generation pass away. He becomes this immortal goblin, a protector of souls, with these incredible powers, but he's just so deeply lonely and sad. Right, it's right there in the title, The Lonely and Great God. He's great, he's powerful, but at his core, he's just this incredibly tragic figure who desperately wants it all to end, and there's only one way it can. Exactly. He has to find the legendary Goblin's Bride, who is the only person who can see the sword and pull it out, finally allowing him to rest in peace. Which brings us to our girl, Ji-eun-tak, the ray of sunshine in this whole epic, tragic story. Oh, I love her so much. Eun-tak, played so perfectly by Kim Go-eun. I adore her. But her life is... well, it's also incredibly tragic. So basically, her pregnant mom is in this hit-and-run accident and is about to die. But in her desperation, she cries out for help. And who hears her? Kim Shin, the goblin. And in a moment of compassion, he just can't help himself, he intervenes and saves both her and her unborn baby, Eun-tak. But by doing this, he messes with fate. Eun-tak was never supposed to be born. She becomes what the ghosts call a missing soul.
Exactly, and because of this, she grows up with the ability to see ghosts, which does not make for an easy childhood. Her mom dies when she's 9, and she's forced to live with this horrible, abusive aunt and cousins who basically just want her mom's life insurance money. It's awful, they treat her terribly. But the amazing thing about Eun-tak, and this is what I love about her character, is that despite all of this darkness and trauma in her life, she is so
resilient. She's this bubbly, optimistic, hardworking 19-year-old high school student who just refuses to give up. She really is, and on her 19th birthday, she's sitting by the sea with this little cake, and she blows out the candles and makes a wish. And in doing so, she accidentally summons the goblin for the first time. That scene is so iconic. Oh my God, yes! He just appears out of nowhere with a bouquet of buckwheat flowers looking all dramatic and gorgeous in that long coat, and their fates, which were already connected, just become completely intertwined. She starts calling herself the Goblin's Bride, even though she doesn't fully understand what that means yet.
Right, she's just this teenager who's like, oh, I'm the Goblin's Bride now, I guess this is my life. And Kim Shin, he's so conflicted because he's been searching for her for centuries. But now that he's found her, he realizes that if she pulls out the sword, he'll disappear forever. And he's starting to feel things for her.
Yes, like the irony is just, it's heartbreaking. He spent almost 1,000 years wanting to die, and then he falls in love with the one person who can kill him. The character development is just, it's so good.
It really is. But we can't talk about this show without talking about our boy, the Grim Reaper, Wang Yo, played by the absolutely stunning Lee Dong-wook, the fashion icon himself.
Oh my God, the outfits! We need to talk about those outfits. But yes, the Grim Reaper. So he has complete amnesia about his past life, right? He doesn't remember who he was. He just knows that he's a Grim Reaper now, tasked with guiding souls to the afterlife.
Right, and he's very methodical about his job. Like, he takes it very seriously. He's got this whole apartment, he's living this weird quasi-human life, drinking tea and being very proper about everything. But then Kim Shin shows up as his roommate.
Yes, and the bromance begins. Oh my God, their dynamic is everything. Kim Shin is so extra and dramatic, and the Grim Reaper is trying to be all serious and professional, but they're basically like old married couple bickering all the time.
I love their relationship so much. Like, Kim Shin is constantly messing with him, moving his stuff around, and the Grim Reaper gets so frustrated. But there's this underlying, you can tell they care about each other, even before they know their connection.
And that's the thing. They don't know it yet, but their connection goes way, way back. Because the Grim Reaper, he was the king. He was Wang Yo, the king who ordered Kim Shin's death 900 years ago.
Exactly. And when that reveal happens, oh my God, it's devastating. Because you realize that his punishment for what he did was to become a Grim Reaper, forced to guide souls for eternity, stripped of his memories and his identity. It's like divine justice, I guess.
Right, and the cruel irony is that he has to live with Kim Shin, the man he wronged, and they become best friends without knowing their history. It's like the universe has a twisted sense of humor.
But then we get to the fourth member of our main quartet, Sunny. Oh, Sunny, played by the incredible Yoo In-na. She's the owner of this chicken restaurant, and she's got this bubbly, cheerful personality, but there's something deeper there.
Yes, and she ends up falling for the Grim Reaper, it's complicated because of who she really is. She's the reincarnation of Kim's son, Kim Shin's beloved sister, who was killed by the king's order.
So we have this situation where the reincarnation of Kim Shin's sister is falling in love with the reincarnation of the man who ordered her death in their previous life. Like, the layers of tragedy in this show are they're incredible.
The writing is so smart, and what I love is how all four of these characters' fates are so intertwined. Like, you can't have one story without the others. They're all connected by this web of love and betrayal and redemption that spans nearly 1,000 years.
Absolutely. And let's talk about some of the supporting characters too, because they really add so much to the story. Like Deok-hwa, the teenage heir to this massive corporation who can see supernatural beings. He's Kim Shin's, what would you call him? Handler? Financial manager?
He's like his earthly connection. His family has been serving Kim Shin for generations, helping him navigate the modern world. And Yuk Sung-jae plays him so well. He's funny and bratty, but also genuinely cares about Kim Shin. Plus, the reveal about who he really is at the end,
Oh my god, yes. When we find out he's actually been the Almighty's messenger this whole time, watching over everyone, it's such a beautiful twist. Like this kid who seemed like comic relief was actually this divine being making sure everything played out as it should.
Exactly. And then there's Untak's teacher, the one who can also see ghosts and becomes like a mother figure to her. And the ghosts themselves, they're not just scary supernatural elements, they each have their own stories and personalities. Yes, that's something this show does so well. Every character, even the minor ones, feels real and fully developed. But okay, let's talk about some of the big emotional moments because this show it destroys you emotionally in the best possible way. Oh god, where do we even start? The scene where Kim Shin remembers his sister's death and we see the full flashback of what happened in Goryeo, I sobbed, like ugly cried. That whole sequence is devastating. The way they show his sister, pregnant and innocent, being executed on her brother's supposed crimes, and Kim Shin arriving just too late to save her. Gunyu's acting in that scene is just phenomenal. And then later, when the Grim Reaper starts remembering his past life as the king and he realizes what he did, the guilt and horror on his face. Lee Don-wook is such an incredible actor. You can see his whole world just crumbling. Yes, and the confrontation between Kim Shin and the Grim Reaper when the truth comes out, it's so intense. You have centuries of pain and anger finally being unleashed, but also this deep friendship that they've built that makes it even more complicated. But what I love is that it doesn't stay there in the anger and pain. The show is ultimately about forgiveness and redemption. Kim Shin realizes that the person who wronged him isn't really the same person as his friend now. Exactly. And speaking of devastating scenes, can we talk about when Untak finally pulls out the sword? Because that moment, oh my god, she's crying, he's crying, we're all crying. That scene breaks me every time. She knows that pulling out the sword means losing him forever, but she also knows how much pain he's been in for centuries. It's the ultimate act of love, letting someone go so they can find peace. And the way Kim Shin disappears with the cherry blossoms and the light, it's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. But then, oh my god, then we get that time skip and he comes back. Yes, the show doesn't leave us completely heartbroken. He comes back because his love for Untak and his desire to protect people is so strong that it brings him back to life. But he's different. He's not immortal anymore. He can age and die like a normal person. Which is actually perfect because it means he and Untak can have a real life together. They can grow old together instead of him being frozen in time while she ages. It's like the universe finally giving them a break. And can we talk about the Grim Reaper and Sunny's storyline? Because their love story is it's tragic but beautiful. When they both start remembering their past lives and realize who they were to each other, it's so complicated because in their past lives, he was the king who ordered her death, and she was the innocent queen who loved her brother more than her husband. But in this life, they're just two people who fell in love. Right, and Sunny, when she regains her memories, she's so angry, and rightfully so. But she also loves the person he is now. The scene where she tells him she's leaving and he just accepts it because he knows he doesn't deserve her forgiveness. That whole sequence is gut-wrenching. But then, in the end, they find each other again in their next reincarnation. The show is saying that true love transcends time and even death, that some connections are so strong they'll find a way back to each other. Yes, and that's one of the major themes of the show, right? This idea of destiny and fate, but also the power of choice. Like, yes, these characters are bound by their past actions and cosmic forces, but they also make choices about how to respond to that fate. Exactly. Kim Shin chooses to save Untak's mother, even though it changes fate. Untak chooses to pull out the sword despite knowing she'll lose him. The Grim Reaper chooses to accept his punishment and try to make amends. These aren't passive characters being moved around by fate. They're actively choosing love and sacrifice and redemption. And let's talk about the production values because this show is just visually stunning. The cinematography, the special effects, the costumes, everything is movie quality.
Oh my god, the visuals. The way they show Kim Shin's powers with the flowers and the wind and the dramatic coat billowing, it's like visual poetry. And the locations, the house they live in, the beach where Untak first summons him, the cherry blossom scenes. The house is like a character itself. It's this beautiful, traditional Korean house that somehow exists in modern Seoul, and it becomes this safe haven for all these supernatural beings trying to figure out how to be human. Yes, and the attention to detail in everything. The way the Grim Reaper's apartment is all black and white and minimalist, reflecting his personality. The way Untak's school uniform and simple clothes contrast with the ethereal beauty of the supernatural world she gets pulled into. And can we please talk about the OST? The music in this show is absolutely incredible. Stay With Me by Chanyeol and Punch, that song still gives me chills every time I hear it. Oh my god, yes, that song is perfect for the show. And Beautiful by Crush and I'm Here by Kim Kyung-hee. The entire soundtrack is it elevates every emotional moment. The music makes you feel everything so much deeper. Exactly, and I think that's what makes this show so special. It's not just about the plot or the characters, it's about the entire emotional experience. The way everything works together to create this feeling of magic and wonder and heartbreak all at once. And let's talk about the cultural impact this show had. This wasn't just popular in Korea, it became a global phenomenon. It introduced so many people to K-dramas, and it set this incredibly high bar for fantasy romance. Right, and it really showed that Korean dramas could compete on a global scale in terms of production value and storytelling. This show looks as good as any Hollywood production, but it has this uniquely Korean sensibility in its approach to love and sacrifice and family. Absolutely. And it deals with these very Korean concepts like Han, which is this deep feeling of sorrow and regret, but also the idea of Jung, which is deep emotional bonds between people. These aren't easy concepts to translate, but the show makes them universally understandable.
Yes, and let's be real, it also launched Gong Yoo into international stardom. He was already famous in Korea, but after Goblin, he became this global icon. The number of people who fell in love with him because of this show,
Can you blame them? His performance as Kim Shin is just perfect. He brings such depth to this character. He can be playful and funny, but then in the dramatic moments, he just breaks your heart. The range he shows is incredible. And Lee Dong-wook as the Grim Reaper, he takes what could have been a very stiff, one-note character and gives him so much humanity. The way he gradually learns how to be human, how to love, how to feel guilt and joy, it's beautiful character work. Absolutely. And Kim Go-eun, she had to hold her own against these two incredibly charismatic actors. And she totally does. Untak could have been just the cute love interest, but she makes her this fully realized person with her own agency and strength.
Yes, Untak isn't just waiting around to be saved. She's actively trying to figure out her place in this supernatural world. She's working hard to build a life for herself, and when it comes down to it, she makes the hardest choice of all.
And Yoon-na as Sunny, she brings such warmth and strength to that character. The way she navigates learning about her past life and having to reconcile her love for the Grim Reaper with the truth about what he did to her, it's incredibly complex acting. The whole cast is just phenomenal. But you know what? Let's talk about some of the specific scenes that they live in my head rent-free. The scene where Kim Shin is teaching Untak how to cross the street safely. Oh my god, that scene! It's so simple, but so sweet. He's this immortal being with incredible powers, but he's taking the time to teach this teenage girl something as mundane as crossing the street because he cares about her safety. It shows his character so perfectly.
Right, and the umbrella scene in the rain, when he appears with the umbrella and they're both getting soaked anyway, but they're just looking at each other. It's such a classic K-drama moment, but it feels fresh because of their chemistry. Yes, and okay, can we talk about the comedy in this show? Because it's not just serious and dramatic. There are genuinely hilarious moments. The Grim Reaper trying to figure out modern technology, or Kim Shin messing with him by moving all his furniture around. Oh my god, the Grim Reaper and credit cards, when he's trying to understand how plastic money works, and his whole obsession with looking perfect and fashionable while also being completely clueless about human emotions. The balance of comedy and drama in the show is just perfect. It never feels jarring when they shift between the funny moments and the serious ones. Everything flows so naturally. And I love how the show handles the age gap between Kim Shin and Eun-tak. Like, he's technically centuries old, but they address it in the story. She grows up and becomes an adult, and he learns how to be more human. It's not just ignored. Exactly. The show takes time to develop their relationship properly. It's not an instant romance. It builds gradually as they both grow and change. By the time they're truly together, it feels earned and right.
And let's talk about the special effects for a minute, because for a 2016 Korean drama, they were really impressive. The way they showed Kim Shin's powers, the supernatural elements, the time travel sequences.
Yes, and they never felt cheesy or overdone. The effects served the story rather than trying to show off, like when Kim Shin teleports with the doors appearing out of nowhere, or when he makes the flowers bloom. It all feels magical, but grounded in the world they've created.
And the sword, the way they designed that sword and showed it embedded in his chest, it's such a striking visual. You really feel the weight of it, both literally and metaphorically.
Right, and speaking of symbolism, this show is full of it. The buckwheat flowers representing first love and new beginnings, the maple leaves representing the passage of time, the way they use seasons to reflect the emotional states of the characters.
Yes, and the doors, the way Kim Shin can open doors to anywhere, but the most important door he has to open is the one to his own heart. Like, the magic is external, but the real journey is internal.
Exactly. And I love how the show explores different types of love. There's romantic love between Kim Shin and Eun-tak, and between the Grim Reaper and Sunny, but there's also familial love, friendship, and this broader love of humanity that drives Kim Shin to protect people.
Right, and the show's message seems to be that love is what gives life meaning, even in the face of death and loss. Kim Shin has been living for centuries feeling empty, but it's love that makes him want to truly live again.
And it's love that gives him the strength to let go when the time comes, and love that ultimately brings him back. It's such a beautiful, hopeful message wrapped up in all this supernatural drama.
Can we talk about some of the other emotional moments that just destroyed us? Like when Eun-tak is hit by that car and Kim Shin can't save her because it would change her fate.
Oh my God, that scene. He's this all-powerful being, but he's powerless to save the person he loves most, because intervening would erase her existence entirely. The helplessness and anguish on his face. Gong Yoo's acting in that moment is just incredible.
And then when she loses her memory, oh, that whole arc was heartbreaking. Watching Kim Shin try to make her fall in love with him all over again, knowing that she might never remember their time together.
But it also shows the depth of their connection, because even without her memories, she's still drawn to him. There's something deeper than memory that connects them. It's like soul recognition, I guess.
Yes, and when her memories finally come back, the scene where she remembers everything and realizes how much pain Kim Shin has been carrying, it's such a powerful moment of understanding and empathy.
Definitely. And you know what else I love about this show? The way it portrays grief and healing. Kim Shin has been carrying the grief of losing his sister for 900 years, and the show doesn't say he should just get over it. Instead, it shows him learning to carry that grief while still being open to love and happiness.
That's such an important message. Grief doesn't just disappear, but it doesn't have to define your entire existence either. You can honor the people you've lost while still choosing to live and love again.
Exactly. And that brings us to the ending, which I think is just perfect.
It's not a simple, happy ending where everything is magically fixed. There's still sadness and loss, but there's also hope and renewal.
Right, Kim Shin comes back, but he's mortal now. The Grim Reaper and Sunny find each other again in their next lives, but they have to start over. It's not that easy magical fix. It's about earning your happiness through growth and sacrifice.
And the epilogue scene where we see them all together again, happy and at peace, it feels earned, like they've all been through so much pain and growth that when they finally get their happiness, you believe they deserve it. Yes, and seeing Kim Shin and Eun-tak finally able to have a normal life together, knowing they can grow old together, after all that angst and separation, it's so satisfying. Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about the big emotional moments and the main characters, but I also want to mention how much I appreciate the smaller character moments, like the way Kim Shin learns to use modern technology, or how the Grim Reaper discovers he likes certain foods. Oh, yes, those little moments of them learning to be human are so endearing. It reminds you that underneath all the supernatural drama, this is a story about connection and learning to live in the world. Exactly. And I think that's part of what makes this show so rewatchable. On your first watch, you're caught up in the plot and the romance, but on subsequent watches, you notice all these little details and character moments that add so much depth. Totally. And knowing how everything ends, you can see all the foreshadowing and the careful way the writers planted clues about everyone's true identities and connections. The rewatch value is incredible. Speaking of the writing, I have to give props to Kim Eun-suk, the writer. She created this incredibly complex mythology that somehow all makes sense and comes together perfectly. Balancing all these different timelines and character arcs, it's masterful storytelling. Absolutely. And Lee Ing-bak's direction is phenomenal too. The way he frames each shot, the use of color and light, every single frame of this show is beautiful. It's like watching a moving painting sometimes. Yes! And the production team really went all out. The budget for this show was huge for a Korean drama at the time, and you can see every penny on screen. But it's not just about the money, it's about the care and attention to detail in every aspect. And I think that level of care is what sets this show apart from other fantasy dramas. It never feels cheap or rushed. Every element serves the story and the characters. Definitely. Now, as we start to wrap up, and I can't believe we've been talking for almost 2 hours, let's talk about the lasting impact of this show. Because even now, years later, people are still discovering it and falling in love with it. Right, it's become like a gateway drug to K-dramas for so many people, and it proved that Korean content could have this massive global appeal when it's done with this level of quality and care. Exactly, and it set the standard for what a fantasy K-drama could be. Like so many shows since then have tried to capture what Goblin did, but very few have succeeded because they don't have that same emotional depth and character development. It's not enough to just have pretty visuals and supernatural elements. You need the heart, the emotional truth that makes all the fantasy elements feel meaningful and grounded in human experience. And I think that's what we'll remember most about Goblin. Not just the beautiful cinematography or the amazing performances, but the way it made us feel. The way it reminded us that love is worth fighting for, even when it hurts. That forgiveness is possible even after centuries of pain, that every ending can be a new beginning. Beautifully put, Melody. This show is it's special. It's one of those rare pieces of media that really stays with you long after you've finished watching. It changes how you think about love and loss and what it means to be human. And that, I think, is the mark of truly great storytelling. When a piece of fiction can teach you something about real life, about yourself, that's when you know you've experienced something truly special. So if you haven't watched Goblin yet, please do yourself a favor and go watch it. Just maybe keep some tissues handy. And if you have watched it, maybe it's time for a rewatch, because I guarantee you'll notice things you missed the first time around. Absolutely. And thank you so much to all of our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into one of our absolute favorite shows. We could honestly talk about Goblin for another 2 hours, but we should probably give you all a break.
Yes, let us know in the comments what your favorite Goblin moments were, or if we missed anything important that you wanted us to talk about. We love hearing from you all and getting your perspectives on these shows.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Drama Series Recaps and leave us a review. It really helps other drama lovers find our show. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into an amazing series, so stay tuned.
Until then, keep watching dramas, keep feeling all the feelings, and remember, love is the most powerful force in any universe, supernatural or otherwise.
This has been Melody and Laura signing off from Drama Series Recaps. We'll see you next time.